Okay, boys and girls, what the fuck? I just woke up from a nap, and my son told me that they were like trying that they were invading the Capitol, basically. And I'm thinking, hang on a second, when was the last time that happened? When the British burned Washington down?
Yeah, it might be the last time.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ! Except I don't know, is it the British? I mean, is that who was attacking the Capitol, or
I believe it was.
have they identified themselves? The UK Proud Boys. I mean, this is.
Oh no! I mean, I was speaking of back in history, but
No, I'm talking about today. Is it the British again, or is it?
yeah, no, it's fellow Americans, by the way, Trumpers,
Fellow?
and I use the term fellow Americans quite loosely.
Air quotes.
Yeah, air quotes. I'm just trying to find.
Yeah, I was gonna. My friend Russ who stopped in last night. Maybe I should talk to him, and yeah, but I'm almost afraid to talk to him because I can't. I remember when during the George Floyd thing, I think the protesters were treated a bit differently than they're treating these guys. I'm not sure about that. We'll see what turns out here. But this, I guess they evacuated the vice president.
Yeah, I mean, and now Trump's, tweeting out, stay calm, be respectful of law enforcement. He's the one who fomented all of this shit over the last 2 months.
Yeah, but what he hasn't tweeted is stop it. This is not what I asked for. Stop it. Back off. This was
right. Yeah, that's what he should be tweeting. But even if he tweeted that, he knew what the fuck he was doing the last 2 months.
Yeah, and I guess they kind of got their way because the vote isn't going to get certified today, obviously, with all this shit going on.
Yeah,
that's kind of what they wanted. And I remember what is Smokey's term? Soy boy John Maddox, that fucking asshole, on one of his streams a few weeks back. While he went on this, he did a debate about election fraud, and then he was going on about how Trump is really president. And
can you share my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Here's a screenshot I took from the live footage of the air quote protesters, and I tweeted it out.
Holy fuck!
The irony of the Confederate flag. Look what's in the background.
Yeah,
the Washington fucking Monument. Okay. It epitomizes the character of the Trump supporters now storming the Capitol. The irony of the Washington Monument in the background behind the disgusting symbol that is the Confederate flag is disheartening. This image tells all you need to know about the protesters.
Jesus Christ.
They're fucking scumbags, okay? And Donald Trump is their fucking leader, okay? This is a sad day in American history, maybe one of the saddest. The idea that he was able to foment, and it wasn't just since the election. He has been building towards something like this since before he was fucking elected.
Yeah, for 5 years.
He's a fucking piece of shit. He needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I mean, it's just, I'm so disheartened right now. When I got here, Speed said, man, I almost feel like crying. And I said, I've been crying. I've been crying for like 20 minutes, and I don't give a fuck. Call me a pussy, whatever the fuck you want to do. But this is a sad day in our history. This is a sad day for every American. And I mean, I just don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm willing to maybe hold out hope that a lot of these people are simply have been brainwashed, but they still are in the Capitol. When they were showing some of the scenes of the people pressing up against one another and pressing against the fencing, and then they were all in front of the Capitol. Now they've breached the Capitol. There's protesters on the floor of Congress right now. If they had not evacuated, they would have been in there. Who knows what might have happened? Okay. Now you're not supposed to have guns, in Washington, but there's so many people And these people are so, and I'm a proponent of the Second Amendment too, but these people, of all the people that are there has to be many of them that have weapons. Okay. And this is just the outcome of this
is treason, right? When you storm the Capitol, that's treason. I mean, this isn't just a fucking protest or a misdemeanor. This is a little beyond that. That's fuck. I mean, and then I wonder how everybody, all of those senators, all those Republicans that have been kind of fucking playing along with this. I mean, they're probably scared right now, right? They're on lockdown. They locked them up.
Yeah.
But I mean, is it gonna occur to anybody that the rhetoric has taken us beyond reason? I mean, Jesus.
Well, no, because here's the thing: the protesters that are in Washington right now, they got what they wanted. They disrupted the process. They weren't able to finish it. So who knows? Will they get back tomorrow? Will they get back to it in a week? So they have in the short term have gotten exactly what they wanted. Okay. And, it's just, it's mind boggling. I mean, I've been saying for the last, since the election, well, no, our country's strong enough. It's going to, it'll all be okay and everything.
Put this behind us.
Yeah. And these people, they won't let us put it behind us, and they're not going to stop either. I was over on Sassy Heathens channel, and Knock was there, and he said in the live chat, and I wholeheartedly agree, that these people are fucking terrorists, and they need to treat them as such. I mean, they're fucking terrorists, man. They need to start fucking tear gassing them and rounding them up, and I don't care if there's 1 million of them. Take them to fucking Guantanamo Bay, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, the military gets involved when this sort of thing that happens, doesn't it? I mean, shouldn't there be a military presence out there protecting the fucking Capitol?
I don't know. Posse whatever it is. I don't know if I say it right.
I don't know.
Posse comitatus or whatever it is, like precludes. I mean, it's been done before in the past. The military.
Yeah, the part that broke me emotionally is when my son said that some terrorist protocol had been set off. It was a terrorist attack, that they actually thought they were being attacked by terrorists because they'd set out this terrorist protocol. Well, that's what it is terrorism. And
I mean, it is. And what if they had been able to get in before they got Congress out of there? I mean, there would have been violence. There's a PBS reporter that's stuck inside the Capitol building now that they've been going and talking to, and then they just came along, the guards, and they were just trying to evacuate them. I don't know whether they're taking them into a secure area below the Capitol, but they were going down steps, and you could just hear it in this young lady's voice that.
Well, does David Hayes? It would be the National Guard, as far as does Washington D.C. have National Guard? I thought they were reliant on the.
No, yes, they do. Yeah, there is National Guard for Washington.
There's National Guard.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's been National Guard there since the beginning of the day, but they're not. It's so funny because when they announced they were going to call out the National Guard to help, keep things in order. They said that the National Guard would not be wearing body armor or carrying weapons. Like, why the fuck not?
They were before for simple protesters out in the streets, right? When Trump wanted to read his Bible.
Yeah.
Look how they responded with police. They had fucking military helicopters in the air, didn't they?
Yeah, some shit like that.
Am I politically inclined, Danny? No, I'm not fucking politically inclined. I hate politics, but you know what? In the last 4 years, I have been pushed right into it. I had my nose stuck right in the middle of it because, I mean, as much as I hate politics, I really don't want to see a revolution where we have a new government or perhaps two governments, one in the South and one in the North. So I guess lately, yeah, I'm a little bit political. And I have identified for years as a Republican, but I can't fucking do that anymore. That's like calling myself a dirty son of a bitch.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. I mean, the Republican Party has just pushed me out for the last 20 years, and in the last 4 years, they have successfully changed me to calling myself a Democrat. I mean, fuck them. Even 6 months ago, I was still identifying as a Republican. But Jesus Christ, I don't vote Republican. I want everybody to know that. I've been voting straight Democrat for the last 8 years. Or 10 years or something like that. I just go down the ticket, and if you're a Republican, you don't get my vote anymore, because I feel what the Republican Party has become. It's not the Republican Party. It's called the Biblican Party. And it is not anything like it used to be. It has nothing to do with the Constitution or with with small government. It doesn't have anything to do with any of the principles that I held.
No.
Just batshit crazy.
I thought what was going on in Washington was distressing news.
What's that?
Well, Danny just posted that he gave his students something to do so he could check out YouTube, and I didn't realize that Danny was helping to form young minds. That kind of distresses me.
Danny's a philosopher.
I know. I'm just fucking with him.
Yeah. Okay. I see. Yeah. We just have to, we got to straighten him out a little bit, obviously. but we're here to help.
Yeah, shit.
I was going to talk about addiction today. I was thinking about talking about addicts. And Leo said something last night about this idea of AA saying you can't do it by yourself. Like, I just wanted to address some of that.
I mean, it's actually, kind of a fitting topic, because the people that are in Washington right now are in some ways could be compared to addicts.
Yeah.
They've had this madman telling them what they want to hear for the last 4 or 5 years, and they're addicted to him. They just won't accept that he lost the election, because they need their Trump fix. They need their enabler. They need, they need the man who says all the things that they want to say, but won't say, themselves. And actually now a lot of them will say what it is they want to say. If you look at social media, they've been emboldened by this man. He is the worst thing that has ever happened to America. He will go down in history as the worst president, notwithstanding the fact that 72 million people voted for him, even again this time, more than voted for him last time. He, in the history books, in the story of democracies from around the world, he will go down in history as the antithesis of a Democrat for all time. And if these people that are sycophantically following him don't wake the fuck up, then yeah, there will be like another civil war or something. It's funny, Knock's been saying for several months now, we're moving towards a civil war because of all this shit. And I kept telling him, no.
Well, I saw it 6 months ago.
I mean, that's essentially what is happening today in Washington. There's people attempting, and some of them in the House and Senate chambers, attempting to start a fucking civil war. Okay, because if for some reason they get their wish, and Congress somehow says, well, okay, Trump's done. I mean, you look at these people storming the Capitol. Wait and see what happens if they by fiat name Donald Trump president, because there will be millions of people that will storm Washington if that happens.
Yeah. Oh, hell, I don't know. Don't have any words. This is like, I remember reading about, and I'm not much of a history buff, but when I read about when they came in and they burned Washington down, right?
Right.
That pissed me off more than anything else, the fact that they went into our capital and attacked us in that way, in that manner, I mean, that was a breach, and I haven't felt that way. That's how I feel about today. I mean, this is beyond just a fucking protest or people speaking their minds or getting out in the street. And I've always been behind protesters, but you don't go into the fucking Capitol. What the fuck, people? Jesus Christ. I suppose, if they have this rhetoric in their mind that somehow the liberals have taken over, somehow we're so powerful and we're so organized that we've created a plot to take over an election, and they keep feeding themselves this shit. They're eventually we're gonna divide into two fucking countries and we're gonna take up arms. I don't know. Fuck.
I gotta tell you, so I get a response from CJ Cox on that Twitter thread I just shared with you. If you know who CJ Cox is.
Kind of, not really.
Synagogue, he's called on. He says, not defending the riot, but I have to ask, do you also condemn Antifa and BLM riots?
If they went into the fucking Capitol, or the White House, or any of that.
Right. And the thing is that, rioting is wrong, no matter who does it,
even the fucking capital of Minnesota, I would be absolutely fucking terrified and horrified. And
I mean, the thing is that, okay, but the fact of the matter is, though, too, this is just, but what about, I mean, look, dude, I mean, I don't know, he can't hear me. I don't think he's watching. I'll have to go respond on fucking Twitter, but
is he he's on Twitter. Okay.
Yeah, he's responding to that Twitter thread I just shared a couple moments ago. I mean, the other thing is that it's I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I'm just so perplexed right now.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. When it came to a lot of the riots that happened, during the protests over Black Lives Matter, it's been proven already that the vast majority of those protests were civil protests, and that the vast majority of them where violence popped off, it was outsiders. It was right-wingers in the guise of liberals coming in and fomenting violence.
Yeah, in Minneapolis here, right after the George Floyd incident, there were those 2 nights of looting and, where they burnt Lake Street down, basically. And they actually caught people that were part of those right-wing groups that were here as an organized effort to do that. And there was some shit. But then after that, in Minnesota, where this whole thing started, we had, they shut Highway 35 down, which is an interstate, right? And nobody got hurt out there. I mean, nobody got killed. It was, for the most part, it was very peaceful. And our National Guard and our police, they got together and they formed this organized. They basically enforced the curfew, and they did it in such a. They did it without hurting anybody, and they did it just so accurately and so perfectly that everybody left and went home. And then we've had protests ever since, so we're still having them, down in Lake Street, but people aren't getting killed anymore or hurt or anything. So the government can handle these things very effectively. And the Minnesota governor and Minnesota in general really did a fucking good job of handling these protests. And I think they tried to breach our Capitol. The guys that were protesting, I don't know what the fuck Antifa is, even, to tell you the truth. I just don't keep up. But it was people that, basically George Floyd protesters tried to breach the Capitol, and they weren't able to do it because the police just, they just built a wall, and that was, but somehow they didn't build that same wall in Washington, D.C. today. In our fucking
in Michigan, the people that were plotting to
kidnap
the governor and shit, like,
and those were sort of on the other side. But I'm talking about somebody asked, what would we do if Antifa did it? Well, they fucking did that in Minnesota, and they didn't get into the Capitol. They were stopped. Why weren't they stopped in Washington, D.C.? Why wasn't there
What are
sufficient?
you talking about? Antifa wasn't the one that was going to kidnap the governor.
No. I'm talking about the protests. There were protests for George Floyd in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Okay, yeah. All right.
And they tried to press into the Capitol, and they were stopped. And they were stopped very effectively and without anybody getting killed. There were a few arrests, and stuff like that. But shit.
I mean, the thing is, like, okay, Antifa.
What is that? What is that?
It stands for anti-fascist. It's a political platform. It's a cause. Okay, and then there are pockets of people that take up that label and maybe do some bad things. But it's not like the Antifa is this homogenous nationwide organization that plots to do violent and criminal riots and shit like that. It's a stance. Anti-fascism is a good thing. Okay. And then, so they try to make it sound like Antifa is this monolithic organization that goes out and foments violence. And it's just not true. Just like BLM, Black Lives Matter. Yeah. Okay. And all these triggered fucking right wingers. Well, what do you mean Black Lives Matter? All lives matter. No, you dumbass. It's not Black Lives Matter to the exclusion of other lives. It's like, look at what has happened to Black Americans over the years of this nation. It's that you need to recognize that Black Lives Matter as much as any other life. Okay, that's what the point of it is. It's not these fucking idiots. What do you mean Black Lives Matter? I mean, all lives matter, don't they? Like, yes, they do, you dumb motherfuckers.
Yeah. I donate money to BLM, and I get updates. Jesus Christ. I'm trying to find some decent news. The other thing is I'm a cable cutter, so I don't have regular news. I might have to actually subscribe to fucking CNN, God forbid. I've never been all that happy with CNN, but.
All right, so I got
nobody wants to come in, eh? So what are you, a bunch of pussies?
Well, look, I got to do something real quick here.
This is an America problem. That's right, Otangelo. It's a fucking America problem.
Yeah. Speaking of, oh fuck, can you take Otangelo's wrench away?
Should I?
Yeah, please do.
What will he? He gets a wrench so he can put his cat's board up normally.
What board?
His cat. He always puts he always posts papers and stuff. Otangelo's never misused his wrench. I don't want to do that, John.
Well, no. I'm not saying he misused his wrench, but you can give it right back to him.
Okay, you just want to send him a message.
Just forgive me. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you what to do,
but
for my sanity right now, could you just take his wrench away and then?
Okay, temporarily took his wrench away.
Yeah.
Are you guys talking politics only, Andrew? I don't know. Not really. Are we? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it's a pretty big fucking story going on.
Pretty big fucking deal.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Like,
I had a lot of other things planned for the weather report, and I almost didn't do the weather report because I'd kind of like to be watching the news right now. I mean, some assholes are, I don't know. Cafe, should I give you a wrench?
Rory Hayes asked for one before Cafe.
He's had one, hasn't he? No. Are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah, what is wrong with you? Lori's good people.
He is. He's royalty here. I mean, he should have a wrench. But give him a cafe.
He?
Huh? I don't know. The problem with Cafe is he sucks smoky dick. Is Ellen Watts' birthday today? Shit, his birthday is a day before mine. I turn 70 tomorrow.
Yeah, but is it all right? So, and again, this is something you can fix later. But goodbye, Otangelo. Otangelo, please do me a favor. Go find a rusty fireplace poker and ass rape yourself. Okay. I mean, because you come in here on a day like today, and I know you live in Brazil, but you had to have seen the news, and you come in here. This YouTube channel is being corrupted now, talking about politics. That's that's horrible. I don't even need to hear that shit today.
Is that what he
might have
said?
even just been joke.
He said
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that was the first thing he posted. This YouTube channel is being corrupted now, talking about politics. That's horrible. Yeah, look, shit's going on in our country right now, and I don't need to hear that shit. So, I imagine that Speed will, after acquiescing to me as a friend, he will restore you. So don't worry about it. You're not gone forever. I have no power on this channel, but I just don't want to hear.
We just want to send a little message. Stay the fuck out of our politics, Otangelo, and at least show some respect today. This is like fuck, like a funeral for the country. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, as Mutable just told him. Have a little respect, man.
Hey, dog. So, I don't know. Has anybody seen what's going on? Did they manage to control this situation already? When did this happen? I woke up at 1:30.
Well, it's been going on for several hours. The crowd was pressing closer and closer to the Capitol, singing songs, yelling epithets. And the bullshit started, on the floor of Congress and the floor of the Senate with people objecting and yada, yada. And then they realized shit was getting heavy. So they evacuated people from out of the House chamber, out of the congressional chambers. So they stopped the session in both houses and they evacuated people. But even the evacuation was put on hold because then they had to put the order out that no one could enter or leave the Capitol building because the protesters had basically pressed right up against the Capitol and were surrounding it. And at one point, I'm pretty sure at one point on Sassy's channel, I was looking on mobile, so it was pretty small, but she said, "Oh yeah, the hoses." So apparently at one point they had some hoses out there and they were hosing the crowd down to get them to back off.
Hoses.
You know how like they get the fire hoses out?
Yeah. Well, when basically the George Floyd protests, they got military helicopters and mace and things like that out. What happened with that? And why not the same response here? I mean, this is obviously more serious when you actually try to fucking take over a U.S. The White House is secondary compared to the fucking Capitol.
I don't know this guy, so you can tell me, because like if he's saying the process was ignored, you mean the process was ignored by these protesters?
Yeah, Russ. Russ, I love you. Russ is a son, basically, and you need to leave, Russ. You need to not fucking do this here, Russ.
He's a Trumper.
I'm not good. He's a very close personal friend. And I respect that. And like I have members of my family that are diehard Trumpers that I just don't ever talk politics with. But one thing is for sure, Russ is not a close personal friend of mine. I know, and that's why there's a lot of conflict here with you being here, Russ.
Russ, that's just bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone would have been fine if they had heard the complaints. Are you fucking kidding me? There was over 60 fucking lawsuits that were heard by courts, by Republican judges even, and they were all tossed out as utter fucking bullshit.
Okay, can someone give Russ, I can give wrenches out. Can someone give him a shovel? Because you are fucking digging a hole right now, dude. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to toss you, Russ. I mean,
Oh, I'm incorrect. Am I incorrect, Russell? Really? Really?
I'm
So you are a denier of reality. I mean,
I'm
are you a young Earth creationist too?
yeah, at least he's not a fucking creationist or a religious.
I don't know that for sure. I mean, if
and,
you,
and he's not
Oh,
pro-life as far as I can tell. So
are you a COVID denier as well, Russell?
yeah. Well, actually, yeah, this is a conflict, Russ. You need to get the fuck out of my YouTube channel. Really, after what happened to my daughter, Russ was very, very supportive.
There
is-
are videos of ballots being recounted over and over. Okay, now you have just proven yourself to be the stupidest motherfucker on the planet. Okay, because
Okay.
every one of those videos that you've probably been watching on Parler and that type of ilk, they've all been debunked. They've been debunked. All right, I'm gonna shut up now. I'm not even gonna look at the chat anymore.
I think I talked him into leaving.
I put it over on the private chat. So
Not the echo chamber you were looking for, Russ. Anyway.
yeah.
Oh shit. Anyway, so what else is happening? Fuck.
I'm going to have my own live stream in a half hour.
You are?
Yeah, with somebody from Sal's channel yesterday.
Who?
A Martin.
Oh, that Martine guy?
Yeah.
What was it? Okay, what's his deal? Is he creationist or is he?
I don't know. He wants to talk about the creator.
Okay.
He wants to talk about the creator.
The creator is obviously a creationist.
It could mean nature too.
Yeah.
Just going to be the two of you?
Have to be in intelligence. What?
It's just going to be the two of you?
No, it's an open mic and with whoever wants to come.
Do you have a link to your video? I can find it. Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah, I think
I have to put the.
you guys knock yourselves out, but I know myself. My head's in politics all day today. Usually it's not, but I mean with the shit that's going on. Why? I don't know. Just a walking fish. I said I was going to look at chat again, and I did. He says, "What are the odds Maddox is in DC right
now?" They're pretty good, actually. He was talking about going there on one of his streams, I think. So, did you ever? Yeah, I did get to watch him part of the Neff and You thing, and I felt the problem is that I close my eyes while I'm listening to YouTube videos, and every time Neff starts talking, I fall asleep. By the time he's done, so I never get back to. It's kind of horrible.
It's all that soothing whistling.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But I mean, his voice, what he's talking in is slow mode. His kind of slow drunken roll. It does put you to sleep.
Well, and it's not just the whistling either. He has kind of a mush mouth.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. What the fuck?
I mean, he could have been that one dude from the Fat Albert show. Hey, the Fat Albert.
Yeah, Andrew, you should come in and tell us about what came. I know he was talking about. He had some ideas about the universe, and he was going on about how because of energy, it's impossible to have a infinite multiverse. Big Bang, Big Crunch situation, and all this bullshit, and somebody was in there, Soldier of Science, I think, or somebody. I can't remember who the other person was, but he was trying to tell him, we don't fucking know the physics of outside of the big expansion. We don't know what kind of physics is involved outside of that. So how can you fucking talk about the second law of thermodynamics?
Right.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Right. I mean, the second law of thermodynamics might not even be a valid thing in whatever medium this universe came out of.
Yeah. You haven't created a video yet for that, have you, Top Dog?
It's in the live chat.
Oh, you put it in
The
the
link.
Okay. Because it's not on your site for some reason. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it does that for some reason.
I know.
I
It's
have to hit like
Yeah, I know.
live, and then it's hard to find it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that lately because I would always a lot of times because you get the half-hour warning notification, but if I was like looking for somebody's stream that hadn't got close enough to be a half-hour away yet, then you go to their YouTube page and then it would be on the home page. It would be like the first video at the top of the home page, and now like in recent weeks, that doesn't happen anymore for some reason.
yeah. Okay, so people should watch that because I did run into that guy, that Martine, a little bit. I don't know whose stream was he on. Beth's
Sal, evidence and reasons.
Cell stream. Okay. Okay.
Oh, on Sal's stream. Yeah.
On Cell stream. You know, Cell is. I don't know. I'm
Go on.
reevaluating after the Smokey thing. You know.
So, something's dawning on me because I asked a question earlier, and now, like, for some reason, my brain's like 15 minutes behind, and it dawns on me what the answer may be. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, you said he, in response to giving Lori Hayes a wrench. So Laura, it's a he. They're a he because they're using like their
Wife's
account, right? Yeah. Now I remember, yeah, because he actually came into the stream and this stream, or maybe one of Knox streams, and was saying that, yeah, that's because I just used my wife's account. What's his name?
Huh?
What do you call him besides that? He told us.
David, but I'm not sure because I'm used to calling him Lori, and so.
But it's Dave. Yeah, that sounds familiar too, Dave.
Yeah. What the fuck? It's like he's got to straighten that shit out eventually. David.
Well, no, I mean, and it's like, and the thing is like I said, it finally dawned on me. Yeah, I've had this conversation with him before on stream, and he explained it. But the reason, so when I didn't remember that right off the bat, in today's world, it's just always like a minefield to navigate, as far as, because we're all getting used to the new norm out there about gender identity.
Yeah.
Like guys like you and me that are older, it's like I always I was always so apologetic if I accidentally, misgender somebody, but it's just inevitably going to happen.
I'm trying to get out of the habit of talking about people in the third person. Well, I guess I have to because Maddox and stuff like that. But shit, I don't know what to do. Yeah, but yeah, it horrifies me to get it wrong because I don't want to get it wrong.
Right. You want to respect.
And what I really want to do is start looking at people without gender at all. Everyone, even no matter how you identify, I just want to look at you as an individual human.
Right. Yeah.
And I've been making some progress in my mind as to learning how to do that. And it's amazing. You can learn new skills. The brain is very plastic. And for a while there, and I guess, back 7-8 years ago, I was pushing back a little bit on some of the pronoun stuff, to tell you the truth.
Right.
And the reason for it is because I was embarrassed and I didn't want to be embarrassed. And it was all about me and my embarrassment. And then I thought, this isn't about me. It's not my fucking business. I can I can be courteous and forthcoming and open to people, Yeah. And if I'm embarrassed, that's my fucking problem. If I make a mistake and I feel embarrassed about it. But it was embarrassment, I think, that drove it. It's kind of interesting. But.
Well, and, it comes out of, like I said, you and me have been around a lot longer than some of these folks, but it comes out of like these traditional gender roles. Like when I was raised, when I was a young man and a child and everything, the normal way of thinking, and not everybody thought this way. There's been progressive thinkers all throughout history, and luckily for us, they usually prevail in the end. But like back when I was a kid, it was like man strong, woman weak.
Yeah.
Man work and do the repairs. Woman raise kids, cook food, that kind of shit. And like I've come to the position and been in this position even before the acceptance of trans people really started taking off. But like there are the sheer volume of females in the world that are more accomplished and more intelligent and contributing more to society than I am. And it would make me a fool to think for 1 minute that women are any less than I am. Okay, I would be denying reality. I mean, and it's not to say that women and men aren't different in some ways, because they are, but there is literally nothing that a man can achieve that a woman can't do. I mean, except, I don't know, maybe write her name in the snow with piss. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they can do that too. But
I was like, what the hell was I, about 30 years old, maybe 32 years old. And I was a programmer, and I'd worked for men, male managers. And then I started working for this Linda at, it was at, what the fuck was it? I can't remember, Jostens, the yearbook and medal, gold Olympic medal company, right? And she was running the project, and I have never seen, and I realized that the difference between the men I had been working with before and her is that she operated on pure, clean fucking logic. And she was so good at managing our team that from then on, I preferred to work for women. Because when you talk about emotional, men are fucking emotional wrecks compared to the almost reptilian nature of a female manager who operates with pure logic and reason. And it was so refreshing that, from that started. And I was a young man, and I came from the same fucking pit of an environment, a cultural environment as you. And gone through a lot of changes. The interesting thing is, like, when they tried to change our language, and it's like, oh, they're trying to change something. It's like, yeah, that's what fucking culture does. That's what humans do. We change. And every time something got changed, when I was in the conservative Republican crowd, I was like, they can't change my life or my culture. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Change is basically, if you remodel your house, you're fucking changing it, right? We need to remodel ourselves constantly. And there's nothing wrong with change. So what am I trying to defend?
Well, and not only that, though, Speed, but the presumptuousness that it took for you to think of it as your culture.
It's my culture, right?
Yeah, I'm doing air quotes right now, as if culture is an individual thing. I mean, if you're part of a culture, you're not. It's not your individual culture. It has to be a group of people.
Yeah, there's all those things that we get in our brain that we're raised with this shit. Like, a lot of you were raised Christian, and you had to go through that whole process of taking out each piece out of your mind, examining it, and putting it back in a different spot on a different shelf, or polishing it or cleaning it off or throwing it away. And that's what we do with our beliefs constantly. And I remember what it was like to be a Rush Limbaugh supporting Republican fucking goddamn immigrant, kind of person. I was that back in probably the 80s and the 90s. That's what I came into. And I was always a little different than my peers. I was always more liberal in a lot of ways. Like, I was the only hippie that was actually advocating blowing the fuck out of North Vietnam. I wasn't exactly a peacenik, but
right.
I was a little different. But I mean, I did fall into that whole Republican scheme, and I listened to those fucking talking heads on the radio until I became some kind of a stupid fucking rigid idiot, So I know what it's like. I remember the day when I turned Rush Limbaugh off.
It's
I was
tough.
on 102nd Street, Nicollet Avenue in Bloomington, Minnesota, and he was defending some atrocious thing that Republicans did, and I realized that he didn't give a fuck about the truth. All he cared about is the party. And I shut the radio off, and I never listened to Rush again.
Well, just real quick, two things. One, is Top Dog saying goodbye, or is that just another pose that avatar has?
I don't know. Did Top Dog go away?
Well, no, but he was like waving.
Oh, okay.
That's just my default picture. So whenever my
okay.
avatar is acting up or something, I have to reset it. Right now, I'm talking to Martine on my stream yard.
And so
Before the stream happens yet.
Jerry Pena
He just got on.
so Jerry Pena says, can he says, where is he? Oh, can someone ask O to unmute me so I can see his chats? No, Jerry. O triggered me, and Speed gave me a little latitude today, given what's going on in the world, and I said goodbye to Otangelo. Kicked him.
Yeah, well, we'll all that.
Speed will be restoring his wrench and his ability to be here.
Yep.
Forthwith.
It's a matter of respect for you, John.
Yeah.
So, and the situation.
You know, it just go back to what we were talking about a minute ago, though, too. I did want to mention, too, that one thing that I've always been boggled by, when it comes to the trans issue, is I don't understand why those that are against transgender people are so myopic in thinking that it's not a possibility, okay? Because people are born with different things that are not accurate about their physiology all the time. I mean, like I was born without any parts of my, left thumb. People are born with different things that are not right for, the rest of their body, or, just different, I mean, for lack of a better term, with different birth defects. Okay. And I'm not saying that the person who's trans is defective. What I'm saying is why is it so hard to imagine that a human being could be born in the wrong body, that they could have the sexual parts of one gender, but as far as their brain chemistry goes and everything else about them, they are the other gender, or they're genderless. I mean, so I just don't understand why they have such a tough time. And a lot of these people on the right that are so against it, they're probably some of the same people that are like donating to a charity that goes around the world and helps out kids with cleft palates, or helps out people that are born with horrible diseases or whatever. And this is essentially the same thing. Like I say, for lack of better terminology, someone is being born with a defect to their gender identity. And why wouldn't we as a society say to that person, we're going to help you. We want you to feel comfortable in your own body, and just accept them. That's what I don't understand about the whole thing.
Developmentally, first of all, humans have a weaker dimorphism, sexual dimorphism, than other primates and a lot of other mammals, and we end up I guess that varies all over the place, but we tend to developmentally, as you're developing and your traits are developing, all of these traits of your personality, your aggressiveness, your all of that, there's a variation from 0 to 100, so it is very blended. So basically, gender becomes something that is extremely variable in our population. Like back in when the fuck was it, the 80s, they were telling men to get in touch with their feminine side. Well, a lot of us have a really strong feminine orientation, and so it really is confused, and it's a normal thing for human beings to have this variation.
Right. Well, it was explained to me that nobody is totally this or that it's a spectrum.
It's a spectrum, right? And it's from 0 to 100. And there are so many genes and so many factors in the development of, that you go through from 0 to adult. And for the most part, we end up in these, these classes of hetero and heterosexual, but at a high percentage, and of course that's by design.
Well, and like it was Surus actually that explained this to me in a rage chat or stream that we had, because he said, yeah, it's more of a spectrum. It's not like you're not totally heterosexual or you're not totally homosexual or bisexual. You fall along a spectrum, and you might be very close to one end or whatever, or identify very closely to either end of the spectrum, but it is a spectrum. And so I responded back to him. I said, I think I understand. So like, all right, so me, myself, I'm heterosexual. I said, but every once in a while I see a really good looking guy and I think, yeah, maybe. No, nobody liked that, huh?
No, I was sending a text to my sons about my friend stopping into our channel. Anyway, those three fight, and they came up together,
So is Andrew coming in?
I'm hoping he's coming in. I don't know.
He asked a few minutes ago, can we talk about phylogeny?
Otangelo G? Have I blocked Otangelo G?
No, I kicked him. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm gonna have my stream soon, so I'm gonna get off.
Okay, I'll try to stop over and check it out.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
But anyway, I encourage everybody to go listen to that. So I don't know. Good interviews.
Bye.
Goodbye. So Andrew, are you coming in with a topic or what?
He wants to talk about phylogenics, I think he said.
Phylogenetics? Where did he say that? The fuck did
like a while back.
Oh, okay. I keep
if I can find it. No, hey, it wasn't Speed that did it. Speed did me a favor and gave me just a little bit of temporary power, and I got rid of it because I was sick of hearing you whine, you little bitch.
Is this does Otangelo have a sock account?
Yeah, that's what Otangelo G is.
Really?
Yeah, here he says at Speed back around 20 minutes to the hour. Andrew said speed of sound of gravity. Want to talk phylogenics?
Okay. So can somebody bring Otangelo back in so he doesn't get all mad at me?
Oh, no. Not yet.
Oh, not yet? Okay.
No.
Okay, so today, Otangelo, it's just for today. It's a special day.
As soon as the stream's over.
As soon as the siege on the Capitol's over, we'll feel differently about you.
He says, I have several sock accounts.
What? You're proud of this? I don't have sock accounts. Well, I have my.
I have two. I have one.
I do. I have one. I have my personal name.
I have one good thumb, and I know how to use it, Otangelo. I already told you when you were here earlier. I don't want to hear your fucking bullshit today.
Yeah, we don't hear any bullshit today. So,
I mean, one of Speed's very best friends in the world showed up and started with some Trump bullshit, and then
he got booted. Yeah. Russ is my son. He's like he literally came to live with me when he was a teenager, and I raised him with my sons. So he's an adopted son. And it hurts me that he is such a Trump supporter, but fathers are sometimes have that problem with their kids,
Yeah.
They fail to follow in your footsteps accurately. They sometimes stray. And Russ is a really good person. I got to say that about him.
God, where did you go wrong, Speed?
I don't know where did I go wrong. He stepped up and started making masks right when this COVID thing happened, and he's made a little money on it. But he didn't do it for that reason. I think he actually did it. He had a manufacturing company, and he was one of the very first companies that stepped up and started making masks for the hospitals. And then he started making, he made these really cool hat shields that you can buy on Amazon. I should find the link to it. But he
like when the plastic shield comes down in front of your face, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but you can stick it on one of these, these hats that people wear. What is the standard?
Ball cap?
Is it? Yeah, okay, yeah. And it's a visor thing, and he's doing really well on that. So I mean, he made some money, but he stepped up and he started doing this very early when Minnesota ran out of masks in the hospitals. He used his manufacturing facility to step in and help them out, and you got to give him credit for that.
There's this young lady in our community that Kitty that early on started making them, and then she would send you whatever masks you needed, and all she asked was that you paid the postage for her to send them to you.
Oh, so Jerry, who blocked you, Jerry? I don't know, Tangelo?
No, he's thinking because he was saying earlier that it wasn't just that he couldn't see Otangelo's messages today after I blocked him. He's saying that.
Yeah, but how the fuck would Otangelo do that? You can't block.
No, yeah, you can block accounts on YouTube.
Oh, you can, so that you don't have to look at their messages?
Well, right, you block them, and then you don't see each other's messages anymore. However, and I don't know, does Jerry have a wrench? No, Jerry doesn't have a wrench.
I just gave him one.
Okay, because Otangelo, even though Otangelo blocked him on YouTube, every time Otangelo was here, he could see Jerry's messages because he has a wrench and he has to moderate the chat.
Oh, shit. Well, Jerry has a wrench now.
Yeah, so if I was to block someone who had a fellow person that had a wrench, it doesn't work. If we in streams where we both have a wrench, you can still see each other's comments.
Okay. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, if you click on the person's, I don't know whether you're on computer or on mobile as far as the chat goes, but if it's a computer, it's the three dots off to the right. If it's mobile, you just click on their message or their name, and it comes up with a menu. And one of the options is you can block that person.
Yeah, but I'm on my YouTube site as me as the owner of the channel, so I have report, remove, put user in timeout, and unhide user on this channel. So those are the options I have.
It doesn't say block.
No, I have to go to YouTube Studio to block them. I think, like, entirely block. Did you see Smokey stopped in with a comment last night on our philosophy talk?
Oh, no.
Yeah, he was saying that I pulled naturalism out of my ass or something like that, and he almost got blocked. Because Smokey is one person I can get blocked here very, very often. Other than that, I've never blocked anybody until this day of mourning.
Well, the irony of Smokey accusing someone of pulling something out of their ass, priceless.
Yeah, Andrew, you're too fucking polite. What did you want to talk about? Andrew?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
We can, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know if you guys wanted to keep talking. I don't want to
I mean, look, at this point, you should just, go ahead and change the subject, because we're not doing ourselves any good by just keeping on about it. I mean, we strayed into some other things.
Yeah, I think we're digging ourselves a hole.
Yeah, I mean, well, we were able to stray to a couple other topics.
Us old fucks should never admit to having grown up in the 50s and 60s. And
I mean, and also I would delight in listening to a conversation between you and Speed about phylogenetics, given that Otangelo has been booted for the day. So if he's still listening, he won't be able to respond
with Cat's board posts.
Yeah. He can't. He can't respond to posts. But Otangelo, I don't know if you realize it. Yeah, I blocked you in the live chat and kicked you from the channel for today, but you still could click on the StreamYard link and come in here.
Yeah. Well, that's a fact. Yeah. That was a horrifying fact.
Yeah, I don't even know why I shared it.
So who was that? Who was pushing back on Nephilim last night about the cosmology stuff? Was that Soldier of Science?
Yeah.
So
I don't know who he is, but yeah, he was kind of getting Neph frustrated last night.
Yeah. Is he a Christian or is he? He's obviously a sensible person.
Right. Well, like the best they could get out of him was that he's a quote unquote materialist.
Okay. Okay. Well,
I like that.
yeah, it's kind of like an atheist, sort of. Yeah, I guess if you're a materialist, you're an atheist automatically by default, I think. So, what was your topic?
Well, like I don't know. I was recently thinking about like phylogenetics and how you can distinguish it from common design, for instance.
Okay.
And so I don't know. I'm
It was a pretty easy way to do it that nobody ever talks about.
okay. Yeah. I know there are lots of ways to differentiate them. Like, what are you thinking?
Okay, so if you have two genes from two different branches, and they're claiming it was common design and not common descent, you look at those genes, and if you look at the functional part of those genes, they will tell you, oh, that's by design. That's because this particular protein does this function. Well, there's whole huge sections of introns on those genes, and there are whole huge sections of the protein itself that do not affect in any way the function of that protein. That protein, like if you look at my favorite gene is DDX11. If you look at the mouse gene, it is 52%. 52% of the amino acids are different than they are in the human and in chimpanzee. So, but it does exactly the same function because all of the active motifs, they call them, or domains in the protein are there. There's 9 active domains in that particular protein that do the biochemical function. So if in these two different branches those things are the same, you could say, why is that? Or those things are variable, but the rest of it is the same. Why are they variable? Basically, why do they vary, and why do they vary along phylogenetic lines? I mean, did God sit there and erase part of them as he was using? He's reusing them on common branches, right?
Right.
Why did he make changes in between humans and monkeys, or humans and mice, but he didn't make changes between humans and chimpanzees in these areas that didn't matter? Why did he make changes at all? Why isn't it exactly the same gene? Why is it different? That is the question. So
right.
So
like, are you talking about like pseudogenes and neutral variation and all that?
Non-conserved parts of the gene.
Okay.
Things that do vary at a higher rate than the functional areas. Like if a functional area varies, it will be taken out by purifying selection, because obviously if the protein doesn't work, the animal dies, right? Doesn't make it or doesn't reproduce. But there are all these other areas that don't matter, and they're different, but they're different in a very particular way. They're not just randomly different. They follow phylogenetic lines. So it looks like what God did is he started out with this idea of a common ancestor, and he made a circle on the paper, and he said, okay, this is going to be the common design for hominids, for all primates, including humans. And then as he moved up the line, depending on how different the species was, he made more and more mistakes as he went along. Why did he make mistakes at all? So I mean, and they will say, oh, it's just those areas are all really functional. We just don't know what they do yet, because God has such a clever mind. He's such a great chess player that he actually built in. But I mean, why did he do it so that it looked exactly
mysterious ways?
Right, exactly. So I mean, you could show a lineage for a particular gene, and you could make a very strong case and ask creationists some very difficult questions.
Right. Well, like one question, going back to my discussion with Neff last night, one question I tried to ask him was he was talking about common design between humans and chimps and how we live on land in similar environments. and that's why we look similar.
Yeah, but it's so do raccoons.
Right. Well, like
Squirrels.
I was also talking about how if that's the case, why do we not look similar to tree kangaroos, for instance, or koalas,
Or
which are
squirrels.
marsupials?
Yeah. Why did he make squirrels so different? I mean, they do roughly the same thing as chimpanzees, and I don't quite get that. They're tree dwellers, you know.
Right.
And raccoons, they have a totally different method of being a tree dweller than a squirrel does. You know, they have different balancing mechanisms, and they have different claws. And cats that climb trees. I mean, they're all
Right.
tree dwellers. Why
Right.
don't they look like chimpanzees?
Right. Right. Yeah. Once you start putting function in, you're basically like you would agree the creation model is basically just phonetic at this point. It's just the superficial similarity and nothing else matters.
Being phonetic?
Phonetic.
Phony.
Hey,
Yeah.
real quick, Kathy, the tweet you saw from SJ was her tweeting out about the stream that we did on the Rage earlier today, about that interaction between SJ and DD, which happened 4 months ago on her channel. And the reason it was brought to our attention is Tom Rabbit just did a video about it yesterday, in which he had got some audio from Discord where Darth Dawkins, after making an ass out of himself 4 months ago in SJ's stream, one of the people that was in the stream with him showed up on Discord, and Darth went off on him from something that had happened 4 months prior. As soon as the guy got there, he was like, "Boy, you were a real jerk in that SJ stream." I'm like, so that's what that's all about. The other thing I want to ask is, like, so if we as human beings were designed by God, why didn't we get made like cone heads, like
I know.
with no ass crack and the repurposing of our waste and methane?
Yeah, because we're so special. Why did he decide, oh, we're going to make a whole bunch of animals look almost like you? Like really, like we're going to make this whole primate group and we're going to make them look almost like you, really special humans. Why did he do that? Where in the Bible does it talk about the primates?
Right.
You know, because if you're going to make a group of animals act and look so much like us, why in the hell didn't they mention that in the Bible and tell us what it was for? Why are you doing this? Why are you making these?
Well,
these,
they might say it would have freaked people out, perhaps.
Yeah, but why did you make them then?
Yeah,
what are they for? To eat the bananas? I don't know. You know, which is
Speed. There's a banana crisis going on. We gotta get rid of the bananas.
Yeah, that's a pretty racist thing to say about primates, isn't it?
Yeah.
Saying that they eat bananas. I apologize to primates everywhere for making that.
You should apologize to Gutsy Gibbon.
Oh, God, Erica, I'm sorry. She wants to be a primate. No, she is a primate.
Well, we're all primates.
Yeah. Yeah. I misspoke again. I'm really
until we become non-primates.
I'm really digging holes. But you understand that part about these these non-conserved regions of genes. That's why evolution is so powerfully a fact. That's why we know, because everywhere we look. And the other thing, if you take two completely separate genes and you find the same phylogeny between them, there is no fucking reason in the world for that other than common descent. And so,
like that. Go ahead.
Why don't we hit them over the head with that more? The reason we don't is because it takes a great deal of work to show that. So, and I'm working on some of the tools. That's one of my projects, is to learn how to do alignments and to learn how to use these different phylogeny tools, because Cell is over there using them. But I don't know what he uses them to try to find holes in evolution. And if you use them instead to try to support evolution, 99.9% of the genes will support evolution. And we have these one-off things where we have incomplete lineage sorting. What is that called? Oh, what the fuck is that?
A long branch attraction or something like that.
I think it's incomplete lineage sorting.
Oh, there.
Yeah, it's when a species splits and some just happen to get certain alleles and other ones get other alleles, and they look like they don't belong to the same branch, the same
When it
group.
comes to tools, Sal strikes me as the kind of guy that grabs the dress shoe to use as a hammer, and then grabs the hammer to crack nuts with. So
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, Speed, do you ever think that we could get Sal in here and get his attempt to answer the question?
Yes. Sal has kind of been avoiding me because he wants to stay friends with me. He doesn't want to fight with me. And yesterday he came on the stream yesterday, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and we sort of had we came as close to having words as we ever have, because him and I think he's trying to avoid that, but I can ask him and see if he can come on and support some of his stuff. I don't think it's in his best interest to do that, so he may not, because every time he's come on my stream, I have kicked his ass, like on the fitness question and all the stuff he was going on about. People have, like, when I reposted that one video and people watched it, they pointed out that I kicked his ass. And then he took a little clip from that and he played it on Standing for Truth's channel to make fun of me, where I was saying something like, he took out, like, out of context, he took this piece we were talking about the human genome crumbling, and he was saying that, we're getting dumber. And I was saying, well, what if that is a reproductive benefit?
Right.
And because it could be. Getting dumber, being smart is not necessarily a reproductive advantage.
Right. Like take sharks for instance. They've been around millions of years, but they haven't grown very smart, at least in terms of human smartness. They're fine where they are. In fact, in some circumstances, they're better than us.
Like, if you give a shark a test, he'll just eat it.
Right.
If you give an IQ test, he'll just eat the test and the tester. He'll eat the whole he'll eat the pencil and go home.
Right.
And they're fine.
Well, like this is the thing about phylogenetics, is that no one creature is more advanced than the other, as much as Neff wants to claim that. But like, for instance, if you take a bacteria, it's pretty simple structurally, but like, bacteria can do things that none of us could dream of doing, like forming mats across the ocean and communicating with millions of other bacteria at once, or living in hydrothermal vents or acidity. It's just amazing what they can do. Yeah.
So, you guys, Top Dog has a stream right now with this Martin or whatever his name is. They call him Martin for some reason. And he's a Christian. I think we should go over and watch that. What do you think?
What's it about?
Martin was going off on evolution, I think. And I'm not sure what they're talking about exactly, but I think people should go to Top Dog's channel. Don't you think?
Did he say it was an open mic?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to open it up or just listen to him talk to this Martin. But if there is a point where he wants people to come in, we might go in and talk.
Man, it's a good thing you don't own a restaurant, Speed.
Well,
you know what, folks? The hamburgers across the street are so much better.
I would do that if I owned a restaurant. I had this. I can't remember this tire company actually sent me to another tire company to buy cheaper tires. And I have bought tires from them for 20 years because they did that. I mean, that was a good fucking move on their part.
Yeah.
They actually pointed me to the competition, and I said, you know what? I want to deal with a company that does that. Anyway, so what do you think? We'll end this?
Yeah.
I do kind of want to keep an eye on the news. Have you heard anything about what's going on?
I just got a notification on Twitter, but it's just, talking about what has happened thus far.
Have they contained the fucking...
I don't know. That's what I'm going to do when we end this. I'm going to go look for live streams. And see.
Yeah, we'll go find some news. But Andrew,
Yeah, you should probably end this before we start talking about politics again.
yeah, Andrew, we should actually try to track down a few genes and draw out exactly what I'm talking about, and maybe come up with a few good cases, and then come up with a few counter cases, to fight against that idea and see what we can figure out.
Sure. Yeah.
Because there's like orphan genes and there's all these things that they hammer us with. But the thing is, no one ever actually goes down and looks at the fucking nucleotides, looks at the actual sequence, and
Right.
does bioinformatic work on it to figure out, let's look at exactly what's going on. Because every time I've done that, I just get a stunning picture of evolution. And
Right.
I think we ought to beat them over the head with the fucking data.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Hasn't that method proven moot to people like that?
Yeah,
haven't you been trying to beat Otangelo over the head with data for?
Yeah, well, they have a certain immunity to the data, and again, we could drift into politics on that one because I've heard a lot about Trump and his data in air quotes. They wanted to put it in air quotes, if you could call it data, but yeah, we beat them over the head with the data, and they have a certain level of immunity. But if you keep sticking their nose, it's like when you have when you're trying to train a puppy, we used to stick his nose in it, that actually kind of worked on him. Might work on these fuckers too. You just keep sticking their nose in.
The thing is I don't need to look at your data because I have all this wonderful data from AIG.
Yeah, the data. Yeah, data. Okay, let's end the broadcast.
Okay.
I wasn't going to go too long today anyway because I want to keep tabs on the news, and I think everybody should go over and upvote Top Dog.
Yeah,
And
I'm going to go see what he's doing.
Okay, good enough. So, Brandon, ending the broadcast. Goodbye out there. Go see Top Dog.
Adios.